For more than a year, the residents of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, would report a huge flying creature resembling a man in their town. Was this a malicious creature from the beyond, or an omen to a disaster that would shake the small town to its core? Point Pleasant, West Virginia, 1966. The month is November, and 5 local men are at a cemetery digging a grave for one of their friends, Kenneth Duncan, who had recently lost his father-in-law. Shortly after digging, one of the men, Duncan, noticed a very strange sight. A huge form was gliding above the tree line in and surrounding the cemetery. None of the men could identify what the object was, only that it was huge and resembled a man with wings. Though none of them got a clear look at it, it was shocking, and they were quoted as saying, "Something wasn't right about the object. It was not a bird. It looked more like a human being. It was gliding through the trees and was in sight for only about 60 seconds. While the 5 men were the first to sight the peculiar creature, they did not report it to the local media. The first sighting reported to the media occurred on November 15th of the same year. The sighting is known as the Scarberry and Mallet sighting. 2 married couples joyriding around the abandoned North Power Plant of the town noticed 2 glowing orbs high above on the rooftop of the plant. Upon closer inspection, they could see a large man with wings standing on the edge of the building, staring down at them with huge, bulbous, red, glowing eyes. Linda Scarberry noted that there was no glowing about its eyes until the lights hit it. This seems very similar to what we see in night prowling cats or wolves or dogs when the light is reflected off of their eyes. Linda also recalled that the glowing red eyes stayed lit when light was taken away from the creature. She said that it stood nearly 7 feet tall with huge 10-foot wings. The creature wobbled as though it could not keep its balance on foot. The couples were terrified and jumped into their car and sped away down Route 62. The creature was seen to have leapt off the building and was flying toward the vehicle. Linda was yelling to her husband, "Speed up, speed up," and as they sped up to more than 100 miles an hour, the creature with a 10-foot wingspan caught up to them with ease. The creature that had now caught up with them had such large wings and had drifted so low to the vehicle that they could hear its wings slamming against the top of the car. Mary Mallet said it squeaked like a mouse. Linda said after this, they were convinced they had no idea what the creature was, and they had never been more scared in their lives. Maintaining speeds of more than 100 miles an hour, the couples finally reached a point where the creature veered off from atop the car and left them alone. The couple sped away to a local store where they convened and decided what to do about the incident. They ultimately decided to call the police. One of the individuals, Roger, mentioned that if he had seen it by himself, he would not have done anything, for fear people would ridicule him and think him mad. They met with Deputy Millard Halstead and went back to the area they had seen the creature on the road. There was a dead dog there where the creature had touched down on their car. Later, they would return and the dog would be missing. The deputy would later note that while he knew that the couples were local troublemakers, they all seemed terrified, and he knew immediately there was something credible to their story. Though when the deputy went to investigate himself, he found nothing. Between November of 1966 and December 1967, Point Pleasant would know more than its fair share of supernatural events. Not only were over 100 residents reporting sightings of the Mothman during this time, but also numerous eyewitness accounts of UFO sightings were also being reported. But all of this seemingly supernatural activity would come to a head in December of 1967. During this time, numerous residents would report having very, very strange dreams that were not characteristic. Many of these dreams would have to do with natural disasters. This led many Point Pleasant townsmen to believe the Mothman and the UFO sightings were omens of an incoming disaster. Whether this was true or not, in December of 1967, the Silver Bridge which connected Point Pleasant to Ohio collapsed, killing 46 Point Pleasant townsmen. The disaster was the worst in Point Pleasant history and made national news. Many justified the claims of the Mothman and UFOs being an omen by the fact that after the bridge collapsed, UFO sightings and Mothman sightings in the town stopped. What is the Mothman? What were the UFO sightings that residents reported during the year from 1966 to 1967? Was the Mothman and the UFO sightings related? Was the UFO sightings and Mothman omens to prepare the town for the collapse of the Silver Bridge? We may never know the truth of what happened in Point Pleasant, but the Mothman became an international legend, even sparking the imagination of Hollywood to create the movie known as The Mothman Prophecy. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.